done it. So welcome everybody. For those of you doing it on catch up, this is Thursday night and it's been an absolutely gorgeous day, baking hot. I was in short sleeve top from about 8 o'clock this morning, which for an Aussie who's always cold is unheard of. It's been absolutely gorgeous. Fortuitously, by popular request, Rachel and I had decided that this would be a yin class tonight, and I think it's probably a really good night to have yin because obviously as a more passive practice it's going to be a little bit cooler than if we're doing something really hot and sweaty. I've got lots to say, so I've got a little bit of an aide memoir, otherwise I'm going to end up going off-piste. So basically, I'm just going to run through a little introduction to yin because I'm not aware of how many of you have practiced yin before or how much. So we're just going to do a little bit of a recap. So yin tends to target the yin areas of the body, which tend to be from the navel right down to the knees. And most of the yoga we do tends to be quite dynamic and it works the more yang tissues or the muscles. But yin helps us to work that other half, which are the ligaments, the joints, the bones, and the deep fascial network that we've got. It used to be that people thought that all the connective tissue was just sort of like nothing much, but obviously a lot of work's been done and they've discovered that we have this fascial network, which basically is a 3D body stocking that holds us all together. I saw a wonderful picture. They dissected a pig's heart and they'd taken the heart out and there was this fascial tissue exactly the shape of this heart, and it's a kind of it's a supportive, elastic, connective tissue. It needs to be hydrated for good health and good movement, and it kind of literally wraps everything we've got. So fascia runs through the muscles, it forms part of our tendons, our ligaments, and it's just kind of there binding us all together. So the yin will help us also to get in and work with that fascia and help to release blockages and myofascial tensions and things like that. So it's a really great practice. All of our tissues need to be healthy and they all need to be worked and exercised for optimal health. So in other words, not just focusing like we usually do on the yang things, but that's why we're starting to get into the yin tissues as well. As you all know, yoga delivers really great physical, mental and emotional and even spiritual benefits. And when we think of yoga in terms of yin, we need to think, well, how we practice from a yin perspective is as important as what we practice. So it's our intention for our practice and the way that we execute it that's really important, and it's what sets yin apart. So yin yoga is yielding, it's allowing the body, and it nourishes the body. Yin's got the same goals and objectives as the other practice of yoga, but the poses will look similar, but they often have different names, but it's how we do them that it makes the biggest difference. Superficially, yin can seem a bit like, oh, that's really easy, you're just going to sit around holding poses, it's a bit boring, a bit soft, a bit passive, but actually it can be very challenging due to the length of time that we're going to hold the poses and the way that the body will suddenly release while we're in the pose, deepening and deepening the pose. So yin might seem simple, but it's not easy. I'm going to invite you to consider setting an intention for the class tonight. It may well be that you want to send your energy outwards. You might want to devote your efforts to somebody or something greater than yourself. It might be that you want to dedicate your practice to somebody or something that needs your assistance. Or maybe you want to offer gratitude through your practice to somebody or something that you're grateful for. Equally, maybe you're feeling perhaps a bit more like you need to conserve your energy, so maybe you want to draw the energy in and focus maybe on something like an Om. You may want to Om to yourself, or you may just feel and hear the Om in your head, or maybe you just want to focus on the sensations of the body or the breath. Your intention is personal to you, and I invite you to set your own intention. Some Yin 101. Yin is simple, but it doesn't mean easy. It shouldn't hurt. There will be strong sensations, and that's okay. Pain is absolutely not okay. If you feel pain, back out. Find your edge. Don't go beyond your maximum. Don't even start off at your maximum, because you're going to be there for a while and the body's going to let go. And you could find that if you already start right at your maximum, you're going to end up deeper than you want. As we practice, work with your Ujjayi breath. So that's your whispering breath, victorious breath, ocean breath, where you get that soft little resonance in the back of the throat on the inhale and the exhale. And that will help to anchor you in the practice, and it's also quite meditative. Try to be still when you're in the poses. Try to consciously release and stay as passive as possible without fidgeting or shifting position too much. We're going to do a balance class today, so we're going to work with the spine, we're going to work in flexion, in extension, we're going to open the hips, and we're going to reset the spine and move the fascia with some twists. So now I'm going to invite you to open with a small meditation. Just before we do that, you'll see I've got a pile of things. These are my home props. So I hope that you all got the email from Rachel, so that you've ideally got some cushions, pillows, blankets, whatever you need if you want to use some props to help you get comfy. I'm going to take a prop, I'm going to take a cushion to sit on. So I'm inviting you to sit on any props, whatever you like. Take a comfortable seat, really comfortable, so that your attention is not in any way drawn to the mechanics of sitting. So maybe you're on a prop, maybe you want to lean against a wall, yogi's choice. And now close your eyes, and we're going to start with a small opening meditation. Taking a deep breath in and sighing it out. Just taking a few seconds to check in with the breath. We're just doing a nice simple breath at this stage. So just feeling the abdomen rise and expand as you inhale, and then feel it drawing back towards the spine as you exhale. And now start to take an inventory. Notice where it is that you're starting from. Noticing the breath, feeling it filling the abdomen rising as you inhale, falling as you exhale. And now allow your awareness to broaden. So start to notice other feelings. Start to notice the body. What can you feel? Notice the ground, the feeling of the ground or the cushion or whatever it is beneath you. Feel the space above you. Feel the air around you. Feel the temperature of the air. What can you feel on your skin? What sounds can you hear? And now turn your awareness into the heart space. Just notice, what emotions am I feeling? Don't criticize, don't judge, just notice what you're feeling. Don't congratulate yourself. Just be a witness to what's arising. And now take your awareness to the point between the eyebrows, and then notice the thoughts, witness them, don't attach to them, and let them just drift on by. And now bring your attention back to the present. Come back to the room, come back into your body, blinking the eyes open, and we're ready to begin. Now, remember, you can either surrender your focus inwards or send your energy outward according to your intention. So we're going to start off with butterfly pose, which in Yang terms is very often known as Baddha Konasana, but in Yin it's butterfly. So I'm going to offer some options. So I like to sit on a prop and drawing the feet out in front of you, soles of the feet together, heels touching. You can have the feet a long way, a further way away from you, or you can draw them closer in. You'll get a different result and a different sensation according to where the feet are. And so we're going to take hold of the feet, or hands can come under the feet. We're going to fold forward, allowing the spine to flex, closing the eyes and drawing in, and we're going to start. So staying still in the pose. Allowing the body to yield, allowing the tissues to relax. No effort is required. And tune in to the music of the breath. And as you hold the pose, ask yourself, what am I feeling? Where am I feeling it? The fascial tissues start to yield after about a minute, but we're going to be holding our poses for 3 minutes. Can you feel the body surrendering? Can you feel things starting to release? And now we have a minute to go. So holding that pose, being aware of the body, tuning into the breath. Okay, and oh, stop, quiet, stop. Sorry, people. Okay, right, lovely. So now just easing the knees back together and coming slowly out of the pose, and we're just going to take a counter pose. We're going to take windshield wipers, which I know you're all familiar with. So lying flat on your backs on the mat, taking feet as wide as the mat, arms can be out to the sides, and allowing both knees to fall over towards the right, and then over towards the left, over towards the right, over towards the left. And carry on with your windshield wipers. Which we're going to do for 30 seconds. And now we're going to take half butterfly. In Yang, half butterfly looks really like Janu Shirshasana. But in Yin we call it half butterfly. Once again, you may like to sit on a prop or a cushion, or maybe you would like to put a cushion under the bent knee. Maybe you want a cushion under the straight knee. Just play around with what you've got and what you need. So once you come to a comfortable position, just turning to face the sternum or the chest over the outstretched leg. Hands can just come to the floor, either side of the thigh, and then just relax into the pose. This is a really passive pose, don't hold on to anything. Just allow the body to fold forward as it will and surrender. So in butterfly, we're primarily targeting the whole of our spines because the spine's rounding forward, so we're in flexion. Our hips are in flexion and external rotation, and indeed they are abducting because we've got a leg poking out to the side. Tuning in, listening to the breath, asking yourself, what am I feeling and where am I feeling it? Be curious. Listen to the message of the body. Letting go is the hardest asana that we do. Obviously the normal rules apply. If there's anything I'm inviting you to do that doesn't feel good in your body, back out. You know, take child's pose at any time that you want or need to. And if anybody is finding that something doesn't suit them and you would like me to suggest a modification, please just unmute yourself or use the chat box and I will suggest an alternative. And we're nearly there. We've got just slightly less than a minute to go. What am I feeling and where am I feeling it? Now See if I can manage to turn the timer off this time. We're not there yet, so just keep allowing the body to take that space. And now changing sides. So changing legs. Remember, both sides of the body could be different, so maybe you're going to need a different arrangement of props this side. Do whatever you need to do to get comfortable. And now turning so the chest comes over the outstretched leg. Walk the hands out as far as is easily comfortable for you. And just surrender. Just allow the body to let go and melt down into the pose. It's really nice to close the eyes and draw in. What am I feeling? Where am I feeling it? And continuing to hold this shape for another minute. Enjoying the surrender of the body. And now walking the hands back up to come upright, extending the bent knee and coming into straddle, which in Yang we would call Upavishta Konasana. And so getting comfortable, remembering don't go to your maximum to start with, there'll be plenty of time for the body to expand. And taking any props you need. Sometimes it's nice, some people maybe like to have the cushions arranged so that they're folding forward onto cushions or a bolster or whatever you have. Yogi's choice. Play around with the props, make yourself as comfortable as you can be. And now surrendering into the pose. Once again, closing the eyes, drawing in. And just feel the benefits of stillness. the spine is still in flexion. The legs are abducted or opened out to the side. And listening to the music of the breath. And although the theme that we've been working on this term, or this block, is power and strength, there is a connection insofar as it does actually require strength to do yin yoga. There's the strength to just sit with the feeling, which can be strong, it's not always comfortable, and the strength to just stay still and allow. Just enjoy that absolutely delicious feeling that you're getting as the body is starting to open and yield. For those of you who want to practice at home, this is one you can do really nicely up against the wall. So you basically lie with your back flat on the floor and your feet up the wall, legs up the wall, outstretched. Maybe you want to tie like a belt or a dressing gown cord or something around the thighs to make sure that the legs don't just over open and yield. But it's really nice. I actually love to do this at the end of the day. I love to do straddle up the wall. And we've done 3 minutes. So returning now to windshield wipers, help the legs together if they need it or want it, or you think it would be kind to do so. And then coming back onto your backs, and we're just going to come into windshield wipers by way of a bit of a counter pose. So just allowing both legs to come to the floor on the right, then both knees over to the left, allowing a bit of a twist in the body so that you're looking over the shoulder that's opposite where the knees are coming to the ground. So if the knees are to the ground on the left, looking over the right shoulder and vice versa. Just bringing a little bit of movement, and just the twist is going to open out the spine, reset the spine after what has got to have been probably 9 minutes of holding the spine in flexion. So it's just nice to release, do a bit of a counter pose. Oh, it feels good in my body. I hope it feels good in yours. Good timing. I felt ready to stop, and that was about a minute, which was what my intention was. Okay, so now we're going to come into child's pose for a minute. Yogi's choice. Bearing in mind with child's pose, we can have the spine in flexion, so we can do the child's pose where the spine is in flexion. Nice to have something under the forehead to rest the forehead. Hands come back by the feet. Or you may wish to take the child's pose where the spine is more of an extension and the arms are outstretched. Once again, I invite you to have something nice under the forehead. Or for some people, and I don't think this is any of you guys, but for some people, it's nice to have something under the ankles or the feet because some people actually struggle with opening out the ankles. So just prop in whatever way you need to and allow yourself to come into child's pose. So in child's pose, the hips are in flexion, whichever version of child's pose you're doing, and the spine is either in extension, if you're doing the arms out version and the arms are in extension, or if you're doing the version where the arms are coming back towards the feet, then the spine is back in flexion. And once again, either version, we're getting a secondary effect of the knees being in deep flexion and our ankles are in plantar flexion. So now we're going to come into a Sphinx pose, and yeah, it's the same Sphinx pose that we do in Yang, and we still call it Sphinx. With this one, I've found from experience in my own body, you all know Sphinx pose. I've found from experience in my own body, if I'm doing a yin Sphinx, I can be a bit inclined to let go and dump into the shoulders, which actually does, it's done my body no good at all. So just be very mindful. I know the pose is passive, but just be very mindful not to just slump and dump, allowing the shoulders to collapse and you dump down. This is one where you may like to prop it, and I'll show you a few variations. So it can be nice to do Sphinx pose and kind of prop the chest a bit, and that also helps not to let the shoulders dump down. Sometimes the problem is the neck, in which case it can be nice to take the basic Sphinx pose but actually just support the chin in the hands. But again, just taking care not to dump into the shoulders. So I invite you now to take up whatever Sphinx pose is going to serve your body best and surrender into it. And in Sphinx, the area that we're primarily targeting is the lumbar sacral area of the spine, and that is being compressed because it's going into a back bend. But at the same time, we're also having an effect on the front body or the torso, which is receiving some kind of a tension from the movement. Just remembering not to dump into the shoulders. But allowing the back and the legs to remain absolutely passive. What am I feeling, and where am I feeling it? For some of us, holding Sphinx like this can be quite challenging. And this is where we tap into that inner strength. You are stronger than you know. You stronger and more powerful than you realize. And now maybe removing any props that you have. And we're going to come into seal pose. So seal pose is a bit like Sphinx and a bit like Cobra. But in seal pose, the arms can be out in front, like so, or wide as the mat, or they can come a little higher. And, oh, sorry, a little closer back to the body. And again, in seal pose, we can use props. So maybe you want to put a prop just under the chest. So finding your comfortable position. And now surrendering into your seal pose. Closing the eyes, drawing in, listening to what the body is telling you. What story is my body telling me today? What story is my body telling me about this particular pose? And remember, keep breathing. The breath is an anchor. It unites our body with our mind, helps to calm the nervous system, and it keeps us anchored in this present moment. One more minute. Stay anchored and grounded in the pose. Keep breathing. And that's 3 minutes. So now, moving your props, I invite you to come back to child's pose, but this time let's shake it up. So whichever version of child's pose you didn't take last time, I invite you to take it this time so that you're going to move the body in a different way. I know that people have very definite likes and dislikes when it comes to child's pose. So it's going to be challenging to take your least favourite and to sit with that discomfort. The nature of yoga is to shine the light of awareness into the darkest corners of the body. That's what Jason Crandall says. And now walking your way back up to sitting from child's pose. Now we're going to take half shoelace, which to a lot of you, well, or in a yang practice, shall we say, would be Gomukhasana legs. So I like to sit on a prop. Going to extend, I never know if I'm mirroring or not, so I'll go with the legs I can actually see. So I'm extending my left leg, and then my right leg, I'm taking over the left leg, drawing my right heel towards the left buttock, and basically getting the right knee so that it comes to the top of the left knee. And this is half shoelace legs. So from here, there are options. Maybe this is enough. Maybe you just want to stay here and you're going to get enough work and enough sensation from this position. Maybe you'll want to fold forward a little bit. Yogi's choice. So taking whichever version you've chosen. Now closing the eyes and allowing the body just to surrender. Yin is surrendering, yielding, allowing and nourishing. What am I feeling? And where am I feeling it? So the areas we're targeting primarily here are the hips, which are in flexion. Well, at least both hips are in flexion. The leg that's on top is in external rotation, but it's also being adducted or drawn into the center line. And if you have allowed the body to fold forward, the spine is also in flexion, and the outstretched leg, you'll be feeling the hamstrings more than likely. So you get a lot of bang for your buck with this one. Sitting with any strong sensations that you're feeling, allowing the breath to anchor you, breathing deeply into the areas where you're feeling that stretch. basking in the stillness. And now if you were folded forward, just using the hands to walk your way back up to upright. And now changing legs. So this time the right leg is outstretched, left leg comes over the top, left knee is broadly on top of the right knee, left foot is towards the right outer hip. And if you folded forward in the last version, we'll try to keep things as even as possible, folding forward again. And now closing the eyes and surrendering into the pose. Witnessing the thoughts as they go by, not judging them, not attaching to them. And remember, letting go is the hardest pose of all. Minute to go. Walking the hands back to come upright to sitting. Uncrossing the legs, getting rid of any props you may have had, coming onto the back for windshield wipers. So feet as wide as the mat, allowing both knees to drop over to the left, head turns a little to the right. Inhale, exhale, knees drop over to the right, head turns a little to the left. And just keep repeating this in your own time, in rhythm with your inhales and exhales. So it becomes like a really luscious, moving meditation. working out all of those little kinks. And now staying on your backs. Oops, if I can just turn that off. Be quiet, shush. And now coming into happy baby. Or half happy baby, if that's nicer in your body. And the hands can hold the outer edges of the feet. Hands can be under the, on the back of the thighs. Or you can hold half happy baby. So whichever is your pose, coming into it now. Closing the eyes and just relaxing in. Just listening to the music of the breath. What am I feeling? Where am I feeling it? And just releasing, helping the knees back together. Using the hands, rolling to one side and making your way back up to sit. Having said that, without consulting my little list here, we're actually going to go back onto our backs because we're going to finish off with some reclining twists. They can be double knee twists, like so. You could put the legs into eagle legs. You could do an eagle leg twist, or you can do a single leg twist. Whichever twist you choose, just shift the hips a little bit over to the right to twist to the left, and that's going to keep the pelvis and the shoulders and the spine in a nice alignment. So yogi's choice, whichever twist you're going for, whichever twist. Inhale, then exhale to twist over, and allow the knee or knees to come to the floor. The arm near the legs, the arm on the side to which the legs have twisted can maybe come to rest gently on the top knee, or it can remain outstretched. The other arm can remain out to the side, or essentially wherever is comfortable. Now, without using too much effort, just bring the knees back to centre. Realign the hips, this time scooching them over to the left and taking whatever version of double leg twist you took on the other side. And just breathing and relaxing into it. Just allowing the spine to reset, and the fascia absolutely loves what we call shearing movements, and a twist is a classic example of a shearing movement. So we're giving a lovely, by doing these twists, we're giving an absolutely lovely kind of massage to the fascia that runs up through the core and the centre line of the body. And now we're ready for Shavasana. So if you need to move to get yourself cozy with props, blanket, the top, socks, whatever, please do so, and then make your way into Shavasana. But everyone else who's already comfortable, just lying on the backs, allowing the legs to maybe be about as wide as the mat, allowing the feet to flop out to the sides, hands at about a 45-degree angle from the body, just tucking the shoulder blades under slightly, and just relax. for those of you who've got the inclination and the time and want to stay in Shavasana, I invite you to stay as long as you wish and enjoy. For everyone else, now is the time to start to return to your body. Start to gradually introduce some small movements of the fingers, the toes. Deepen the breath. And rolling over onto one side, just take a few more moments of precious rest in the fetal position. And now pressing your way up into a comfortable seat, keeping the eyes closed. Hands together in prayer position. Lokar, Samastar, Sukhinu, Bhavantu. That means may all beings everywhere be happy. And now blinking the eyes open. Raising the hands to the heart in prayer position. Raising the thumbs to the third eye position between the eyebrows. Bowing the head to the heart, uniting heart and mind in gratitude for your wisdom, in gratitude for your body, and in gratitude for the other yogis who've shared this practice with you. Namaste. Thank you very much everyone for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed the yin practice. If you want any more yin, and there's lots more that we can do, please just let Rachel know so that we can kind of plan in some yin classes. And yeah, great. Thank you very much. I'm going to turn off recording now, but if anybody after the class wants to talk to me, just turn on your video, turn on your microphone, and we can chat. Thank you, everybody.